Hello everybody and welcome back to Jordan Golf TV, where we are talking about all things golf. And in today's episode I have an exciting unboxing for you. We're going to be unboxing quite possibly the most hyped up golf shoe of the year so far. It's the FootJoy Premier Series LX collaboration with Aime Leon Dore. Now, the reason why these shoes have been so hype is for a number of different reasons. FootJoy collaborations are pretty much on top right now. I'm thinking about shoes like the Bushimi collaboration or the Metalwood Studios collaboration on the Premier Series LX. These shoes have gone on to sell out instantaneously, resell for a whole bunch of money in the aftermarket, and offset any number of quadruple bogeys during a round. And so this model, just the Premier Series LX model, just by itself, is enough to command a decent amount of hype. But then you factor in Aime Leon Dore, who have in recent years gone on to be a real stalwart in the streetwear as well as luxury streetwear fashion mainstream. They've also done a ton of successful sneaker collaborations with different brands, and because they exude this luxury and this quality, there was a general feeling out there that the luxury of Aime Leon Dore combined with the luxury of FootJoy would give us some kind of uber luxury, the likes of which we've not seen before. And one of the last pieces of the hype jigsaw puzzle is the inspiration for the colorway for this shoe, because it comes from one of the best, most iconic basketball shoes of all time, the Air Jordan 11 Concord. And as you guys may or may not know, Teddy Santis is like an OG Jordan head from back in the day. If you're familiar with the Aime Leon Dore aesthetic, particularly in their boutique shops, you'll know that Jordans regularly feature as part of the prop decorations for his shop floors. They regularly feature in some of his lookbooks or advertising campaigns. Teddy Santis is a Jordan head, and so taking the Concord colorway with the flat white as well as the patent leather and slapping it on a golf shoe like the Premier Series LX was just an absolute recipe for success. That was until people started getting their pairs in hand. Now let's get into my own personal unboxing. So first and foremost, starting with the box. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the box is beautiful. I do love the green combined with the gold. Even though I'm from New Zealand and these are arguably Australian kangaroo type colors with the green and gold, I am still a huge fan. But that shouldn't take away from the fact that my box came with some free damage on the corners. I don't know, these feel like these have been bought and returned at this point, maybe 3 or 4 times given the damage on the box, but you don't wear the box, so we're not gonna get hung up on that. Opening up the box and getting into it, we've got a pretty nondescript dust bag. There's no co-branding, there's no FootJoy, there's no ALD, there's nothing really that I can see in the dust bag that gives it away as any kind of special collab. To be honest, this dust bag is a little bit of a disappointment. Yeah, it's a nice furry material, yeah, it's got a liner, but bro, nothing special with the dust bag, to be honest. Bit of a letdown. And getting into the shoes, wowee, here they are, in hands. I guess the first thing to say is it's such a classy model. It's very simple, it's very elegant, very discreet, very smart. Yeah, bro, they're absolutely beautiful. The first thing that you're struck by is just the pebbled texture of the tumbled leather on the upper. Like there is some serious tumble action going on up top. The leather does feel soft to the touch. It does feel quite smooth. The patent leather that wraps around the bottom is a really dope touch. And again, if you situate them next to the Concords, you can get a really strong sense for the design inspiration. Color of the white on the upper isn't like a flat white. It's actually more of a creamy type white. You've got a perforated leather liner, which is really nice. And there is a decent feeling construction about the shoe, just sort of pressing in and around the heel cup. Like these do feel like they have been really well made. The midsole technology isn't something that I'm familiar with. I will do a little bit of research into that, but yeah, again, it comes in that sort of off-white creamy color. And then on the sole, you've got this wicked traction pattern that features in almost like a brown type colorway with some slight gold hits to it. I'm wondering if that is maybe supposed to be reminiscent of the oxidized Air Jordan 11 outsole that tends to happen with age. If you guys look at the color of the oxidation on my pair, this is the 2011 pair of Concords, and you kind of situate them next to one another, you can kind of get a vibe for the oxidized outsole. You also got a little bit of purple as well on the bottom, just, yeah, finishing off the look. So yeah, it's a dope shoe. The quality of the materials does look pretty nice, but I think it's time to talk about the elephants in the room, and that is all the issues that a lot of people out there have been having with these. So the first thing to say is that these were £300, which is definitely a premium price. The pricing is interesting because ALD stuff, I think, is generally very overpriced. FootJoy stuff, I tend to find quite reasonably priced. And so I feel like FootJoy were probably more influential on the price for these shoes than ALD was, because if ALD had had their way, I feel like they would have tried to get way more money out of these. But £300 didn't seem like too bad a price to pay, especially considering that the Justin Timberlakes were £430, which is obviously significantly more. Now, one of the big issues that I've seen circulating out there is the fact that if you copped a pair of these from the Aime Leon Dore website, you more than likely got a pair of samples, not a pair of regular retail released pairs. The samples are identified by the size label on the back tab, which just has like a made in Vietnam and a number. You also have a sample tag underneath the insole in the footbed. And from what I've come to understand, there are some slight differences in terms of the materials for the leather on the upper. Now on the ALD website, I think they sold out really, really quickly, but on the FootJoy website, these things were sitting around for some time after the initial release. In fact, I think maybe even the following day, there were still sizes available. Now, the main complaints that I'm hearing out there is with regard to the shape of the toe boxes. Now, if I just show you guys the difference in the toe boxes. If you have a look at the left shoe, you can see the angle on the front toe cap here is, I don't know, like around 45-degree angle. I'm trying to hold it as horizontal as possible. Now, if you now look at the right shoe, you can see that the angle on that front sweep is not identical. Yeah, the angle on the right shoe is a lot steeper, a lot more up and down. It's almost like it's a little bit more rounded, a little bit more parabolic. Whereas on the left shoe, there's a more noticeable 45-ish degree angle, a little bit more slants. This one has a little bit more roundedness. Now, this isn't like a huge big deal, but if you're someone that has paid £300 expecting top tier quality, attention to detail, and the lack of small minor imperfections, then you will be disappointed with that, because you're gonna look down from the top down and see your shoes and just know that they're not perfectly symmetrical. So yeah, I'm not really sure, you know, to what extent it really is a big problem. Obviously, I haven't like tried them on and played in them yet. I will be bringing you guys my full in-depth performance review on these early next week. But yeah, my initial reaction to the shape of the toe boxes, it is noticeable. I will break this down in the next review, but yeah, this is one of the main complaints I'm seeing out there from people, is that they're not satisfied that the toe boxes are not even, or they're not identical to one another, which if you're paying £300 and you've been excited about this shoe and you've now gotten them in to find that they're not perfectly identical, you're gonna be a bit upset about that. So yeah, those are the issues I'm seeing with the ALD FootJoys. I still think it's a beautiful shoe, really well executed. Obviously, the angle in the toe box isn't going to necessarily come up when someone's watching you line up an 8-footer, or maybe watching you tee off. I don't think it's the type of thing that people are gonna say, hey bro, did you not notice that your toe box on the right shoe is about 12 degrees off compared to the left shoe? I don't think you're gonna get any of that. And if you can message the retailer that you got them off and complain and maybe get a discount or something like that for a future purchase, then hey, why not? But yeah, at least for me, my first impressions of these is they are clean, they look smart, they look good. The quality on my pair, at least from my first impressions, is pretty decent, notwithstanding the toe box disparity, but hey, it's all good. Apart from that, and the dust bag, which I think is pretty whack, as well as the packaging, which I think is, you know, pretty average. They maybe could have done a little bit better with the packaging as well as the dust bag, but hey ho, you can't win all the time. So yeah, those are my thoughts, my initial thoughts on the most hyped up golf shoe to release so far this year. What do you guys think about these? What are your first impressions like? Let me know. And once again, I will be bringing you guys my full in-depth performance review where I will rake over some of these coals again in today's video early next week. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought down below. Drop a like on the video before you bounce, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care for now, and peace out.